Hi everyone! I'm trying some new things, like different earphones and mic in a different position and green screen. We'll see how that goes. This episode so far has been cursed. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how cursed this episode has been. I've tried to do it multiple times, and every time I've tried to do it, something has gone horribly wrong, which ended in me not having this episode available. As you've noticed, this episode's going to be put out late, so awesome. Anyway, it was like when I was recording the makeup initially, like Twitch didn't record it, so I've had to do the makeup twice. So this is my second look. Awesome. And then I recorded the majority of this episode before I realized that my physical mic was muted. This is where I'm at right now. So, super thrilled. Still playing around with some of the backgrounds and stuff. Like, I'm not fully set where I am. The art that you're looking at is made by Kim. She actually drew the art in the background, and I think it's really cool. It's very Avatar inspired, like Avatar Blue People, not Avatar The Last Airbender. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, let's get this show started. I have rambled on more than long enough. Episode 4, because we're going over 4 and 5, begins with not the beginning. As if you couldn't tell. How did she hear that? Like that you can see her in the blade when he's talking about hurting someone? These 3 windows, we will be seeing them a lot. They represent people. The number 3 pops up a lot throughout this entire series. It's significant. None of me. Just what everybody loves. I don't know why they spell it like Mickey Mouse. When it's M-I-K-I? So he was playing at the ball, and he dropped out of a competition because he didn't want to be in a competition. Miki does not like competitions. You like how he dodged that question? Yeah, he is out of sorts, that's for sure. That's what that meant, in case you didn't catch that. I hope she can hear it. Of course it does. Dun dun dun. Which is also the name of the episode. I do my own, horns and stuff. Never mind, shut up. So, Utena is typically really good at school. But, lately, because of the duels and, lack of sleep and everything, she just hasn't been getting good grades, because that's what happens when you're constantly being challenged to duels. Warning, violence. Off-screen violence, but violence. There's a lot of I don't even know why I'm warning anymore, but here we are. Hello, Nanami's lackeys. Once again, Nanami has sent her lackeys after someone because she thinks they like Anshi. I'm sure that meant something, but I'm not sure what, so here we are. Oh, Miki. So when we see that, we initially think that is him being flustered. I'll show you later why it isn't. Oh, Miki is genuinely a good person. He's probably one of the only genuinely good people. Right, and he's a genius. Of course he is. Why is he with Anshi? Don't stand on ladders, kids. Not on the top of ladders. It's dangerous. I don't know what that background dude was doing. So Jerry knows where his dorm is, meaning she knows him well enough to know where his dorm is. And she knows it's weird for him to take an interest in someone. I'm gonna pause this here because I feel like this particular scene I find super interesting. Like, just with the wording and the way it's placed, because everything is, you know, done for a reason in this series, so here we are again. Anyway, so it says happiness can sometimes be surprisingly close, don't you think? Or can't it? Whatever. The scene that we're set up with is purposefully made so that the bookcases and books are directly behind Miki and Juri, but it's off-center, right? So the books obviously represent them and studiousness and whatnot. But then the thing that's closest to them, that's just to the, well, it's to my right. Guess it's whatever. Anyway, just to the right of center is a big black void. Nothing's there. You can't see through it. You can't see anything in it. It's hollow. It's empty. There's nothing. So it's very interesting when he says something along the lines of like happiness is surprisingly close. And the only thing that's actually surprisingly close is darkness and an emptiness and literally nothing, just a void. So is it a void that he's looking to fill, or is it that the person he's looking for happiness in is a void? Okay, so we're going to talk about Choo Choo for a second. While I do say that he is primarily a kind of a nonsense character, the reality of it is that he's kind of there to sort of point you in a right direction or make you pay attention to certain things that you wouldn't have normally paid attention to. So, I mean, he has some point. He's not completely pointless. But in this particular scene, pay attention to what he does with objects and the timing in which he does it. So what's being said and what he does with said objects. So she's talking about a logical boyfriend, and he just tosses it. Oh, Miki. As in, he's a duelist and a student council member. But now she's making assumptions that he's like one of them after the Rose Bride. And Choo-Choo picks up a pencil and draws nonsense. As in, the things that she's thinking and saying is nonsense. Alright, so we're pausing on the music sheet so that we can get a closer look at it. Yes, the music sheet, it means something. Everything means something. Anyway, so the music sheet, real specifically, is what I was saying. It's not fluster like you might think. The music sheet actually represents someone else entirely. So whenever you see the music sheet, Miki is thinking of somebody else, and the music sheet represents that somebody else. I would like to note that on the music sheet it says simile, which is a music term, but at the same time it's also a literary term, which is what we use to draw comparison or likeness between two things. There's some sublimation going on there. Sublimation. There's some supplementing. Some replacement happening. In other words, Anshi reminds Miki of somebody else. There it is. She reminds me of a girl I know. Miki's on the same page as Utena. He doesn't want to do these duels. Very observant, Miki. Totally missed the point. He's a good guy. He tries. And we're back to the three windows. Again, representing people. Also, Toga's still a creep. Forever and always creep. The shining thing. Okay, so let's talk about the shiny thing because it pops up all the time and it's something we should probably talk about. The shiny thing that Miki keeps referring to is a representation of an important part of your life, like a component of your life or a component of some part of your life that's very important to you. In this case, that component is Miki's relationship with the girl he used to know or girl he knows, right? It's kind of symbolic of the thing that is missing in that relationship, the thing that he doesn't have. So a broken relationship. And the shining thing is what it would take to fix that relationship. I guess in this situation, he's looking for the happiness that he used to have in that particular relationship. And again, you know, he's thinking about the other person because music sheet, right? I love how this just looks like an old photograph, you know? It's just really pretty. It's clever. We're going to pause there for a second because there's a lot to go over and I can't go over it in the short amount of time that we have before the next scene, which has more things to go over. Very Utena. Butterflies. They're very important. In most cultures, they represent change and transformation. And that's true here as well. And we will see a lot of them throughout the series and we will see them in the movie. And, you know, I don't know if they're in the manga or not. And check. Should probably have checked. I'll check later and let you know because they show back up anyway, so Here we are. Anyway, a lot of you may know that also butterflies tend to represent death or the soul. Like in Bleach, how they have the black butterflies. Similar, but the white butterfly in particular has a folklore to go with it. And the folklore is essentially a young couple are engaged to get married. The bride-to-be dies before they get married. The groom, while grieving her, decides to uproot his life, dump everything, and then just go and take care of her grave. So he moves into a house next to where her grave is, selflessly, because he just wants to take care of her site. So he stays there and he takes care of her gravy site. Mm-hmm. Her grave site for like the next 60 years. And then on his deathbed, his nephew and sister come to visit. And the nephew sees that a white butterfly lands on his pillow. And he keeps like trying to shoo it off, but the white butterfly keeps coming back. And he does this 3 times. The butterfly comes back every time. And then on the last time, the old man takes his last breath and the butterfly leaves through the window. The nephew's like, well, that was ominous. I'm just going to go follow him. So the nephew follows the white butterfly all the way back to, you probably guessed it, the woman's grave. And then it disappears. He goes and talks to his mom about that. And she's like, oh, yeah, this is the story. This is what this is. It's probably her soul that was looking after him this whole time because he visited her every day of those 60 years. So in this particular case, the white butterfly is meant to represent a selfless love and the soul. Selfless love and the soul. So we see 2 butterflies and 2 people, one of which is obviously Mickey. So it's representing a young selfless love between 2 individuals, Mickey and that other person who he has a broken relationship with. See what I mean by pausing the next scene? Toga is referring to the happiness that Miki finds in a relationship that he had with this other person. Clearly, Toga is missing that particular happiness, meaning he also has a broken relationship that he can't fix or needs fixing, but whatever. He can't fix it. This sort of thing is cropped up throughout the entire series many, many times over. There are a lot of broken relationships in this series, and they will continue to pop up. And of course, there's Nanami.
かしらご存知かしら。小学校の時初めて付き合った子はクラスで一番算数のできる子でした。あら初耳、そんな頃にもう彼氏がいたの？けど私がプロレスのニンニクラーメン大盛り。お好きだとすると君がどういうことか分かったよ。って言ってそれっきりになっちゃったのね。おお、恋するものよ。夢見る恋の和光度よ。本当の彼女の正体よ。果たしてあなたはご存知かしら？かしらご存知かしら？
Okay, Shadowplay Girls. This one isn't as hard as last week's, but we'll go over it anyway. You have a story about a girl who's saying that a boy has fallen in love with her. He's really good at math, so automatically we're gonna kind of assume it's Miki, because math and, the episode. So he falls in love with her, but he doesn't really know her. And when he finds out that she likes pro wrestling and that she likes ramen that's really stinky and all this other stuff, he decides that he can't be with her, so he leaves her. Okay. And then, after he's leaving and everything, they're like, oh, boy who dreams of love, the truth behind the girl. Do you really know what that is? So if we're talking about Miki, we're also talking about several other people in this series, but let's focus on Miki for now. It's about falling in love with someone before you really know what they're like. In this case, it's most likely Miki falling in love with Anshi, but not knowing what she's like at all. Equally, it's Miki loving the other person and not knowing what she's like at all. It's the parallel representing the two people. Because, people aren't just their likes and preferences, there's more to them. And poor Miki, being as innocent as he is, hasn't quite figured that one out yet. Miki is incredibly well intentioned, but very easy to take advantage of. Especially by people like Nanami. He has no girlfriend. He doesn't have a girlfriend for a reason. She's so psycho. This next part's gonna be pretty silly, but it exists to show us kind of the true nature behind both Nanami and Anshi. Nanami, interestingly enough, really sees through a lot of people's BS. As much as I don't like her, she really sees people. Nanami has really stupid plans. The whole point is that she's trying to get other people to see what she sees. Also, she's terrible at naming missions. Bum bum bum. Totally unrelated. I love snails. I think they're cute. You can't shame someone who's not embarrassed of what they do. Also, Miki has some awfully big love blinders on. I think it's cute. It's weird, Miki. Like, as much as I love snails, I'm not keeping them in a pencil case. It's weird. Mm-hmm. She's still bad at naming missions. She never gets better. Not suspicious at all. Oh, poor garter snake. I think garter snakes are really cute. Who keeps a mongoose in their desk? Of course Miki thinks it's cute. Exactly. Why doesn't anyone see that that's weird? It's like they've all got, you know, blinders on or rose-tinted glasses. One of these days I'm gonna keep track of all of Miki's stopwatch times. But that day is not today or any time in the next year. It's a lot of work. Nanami just doesn't understand that you can't shame someone who doesn't feel shame over stupid things. She tries. I love that her hair gets more and more messed up as she's going. Getting frazzled. I hate that sound. It's like... It's like sticky slimy. I'm not a fan. That clearly worked out well for her. It's a balloon. Mm-hmm. Weird. This next part might seem a little pointless, but again, it really emphasizes the fact that Anshi does not care about school. She doesn't care about her grades, she doesn't care about what she's doing. It's not important to her, and yet she still manages to pass classes. I wonder why. See? Not a single care. I'm sure that time means something. And Nanami's having an existential crisis. I feel for her. Also, how does she keep this big old bento box in a briefcase? I call physics BS. You know, when there's a choo-choo right there. Nanami's gonna kill someone. Shaved ice is her specialty? It's just literally shaved ice with syrup on it. I don't know how that's a specialty. Back to the existential crisis. Of course you do, Mickey. You also think everything she does is cute. But Nanami has a point. Why is everything she do weird? Why doesn't anyone notice that she's extra weird? Like, there's clearly something wrong here. Why doesn't anyone notice it? Neither Utena or Miki. And everyone keeps accusing Miki of being in love with her. Conveniently, she vanishes right as someone's pointing out the oddities. Note that there's no music notes on the music sheet. And yet... It 100% is the Sunlit Garden that Miki wrote. Well, Miki and the other girl. So why does Anshi know it? Moreover, why does Anshi know it by heart? And further up, why does she know it by heart, playing it on a piano that's in their empty dorm room right at the time that Miki needed to hear it? Totally coincidental. Back to the who it reminds him of. And it's his little sister! Well, he says little sister. What he really means is like twin sister. So he has been this whole time supplementing Anshi for his little sister, who he has a broken relationship with. Okay, so that's it for episode 4. I will immediately move on to episode 5. Sorry, I'm really distracted by the new light that I just got. It's like this ring light, and it's really distracting, so I keep looking at it. Whatever, anyway, here we are. We're just going to dive right back in to episode 5, which is the continuation of this, so stay tuned. Episode 5. Already we're at a pause. It is kind of important to remember that everything is color-coded for a reason, so that you can always tell when something's supposed to represent something else, like the blue spark being Miki and the orange spark being Juri, because their colors are blue and orange. Complementary opposites. Makes sense, right? In the same way that red and green are complementary opposites? Toga? 3 windows. Juri is the captain of the fencing club. And Miki, in the movie, he's like vice captain, but I don't know if they say he's vice captain here in the animated series. But either way, he's a really, really, really good fencer. Like, national level, super good at fighting. Super good. And he aims for the heart. More 3s.
ついに取られたな。強くなった。いいえ、まだまだです。まだまだ完成してい
He's a perfectionist.
いや、完成していないことが君の強さなんだ。純粋ゆえの勢いだな。君の剣にはいつも素直な勢いがある。それが今日は一段と勢いを増しているようだ。そのわけは、答案用紙の女の子か？何言ってるんですか？でも、君の剣は戦うためじゃない。
Okay, so Juri's great. She looks after Miki kind of as a big sister, and that'll make sense later, because it'll make sense later when we get to Juri's episode. Juri knows Miki well enough to know that Miki is relatively innocent. He's very naive and young, but equally, he's not meant for competitions. He's not meant for fighting. Basically, she's saying he's too good for these rose games. He's too good for the duels. He's too good for this world.
I know.
Sunlit Garden Part 2. And we're back to rose gardens and bird cages. We'll be seeing a lot of those. They're kind of duplicitous in their meaning of being like something that keeps you safe and something that's also a prison. We'll see them a lot. In the same way see roses a lot. Seriously, like, talk about symbolism coming out of your ears. There he's thinking about his sister again. Drawing all those parallels. Oh, she has no idea what's going on. Oh, you see the purple and orange roses? Orange being Juri, purple being Anshi. Honestly, Utena just wants Anshi to have friends. You like that horror movie music? We're back to the 3 windows and the piano. He's expanding upon the shiny thing. Yeah. He and his sister wrote this amazing piano piece when they were children. Genius.
今思えば僕の幸せのすべてがそこにはありました。だけど僕はそれを壊してしまった。自分の手で壊してしまったんです。
Yikes. Bird cages.
そう、来週の木曜日みんなが僕たちを見に来るんだ。だけど私
Once again, cages representing imprisonment. Birds representing people or ideas. In Japanese culture, the bird can also mean the soul. He's talking about wanting to do a concert with her. It should be fun. Birds outside the cage, meaning a vulnerability. They are no longer safe. And now he's very sick, and she's going to have to do the concert by herself. This is weirdly not the first time we will see a situation like this. One sick brother, one sister pulled off to a crowd of people. More cages. And apparently she just ran off the stage. Wonder why. Keep in mind that Miki just went over this really heartfelt story about his sister, and what is Anshi doing? Not paying attention at all. Poor Miki. Utena listens, because Utena's compassionate and cares. Oh, look who's at the first window. It's Anshi.
姫宮さんのピアノにはそれがあるんです。それってアバタもエクボってやつ？
Utena can't hear the passion that Miki is hearing.
輝くものを見つけたんだ。
それって告白ってやつですか？
Awkward. Dodging that question like a pro.
どうする姫宮？え？
Himemiya was not paying attention. Again. Well, she's very robotic about this, and Utena's like, hey, be a person. She doesn't like these duels. She doesn't like that it uses someone. And for good reason. But this really resonates with Miki. More cages? Talking about birds. Eggs. Birds flying outside the cage. There's vulnerability. Center the cages, Toga. Just saying. The apple is important. We'll talk about it later. So they're gathered, but not because they got a letter from the ends of the world. They're gathered because Miki gathered them. Stopwatch. So he is trying to dissolve the student council because he wants to get rid of the rose duels. Kind of repeating Utena here. His heart's in the right place. Shuri. That's a really interesting phrase. So he says, youth can sometimes keep you from seeing what you truly seek. Okay. He's in one way implying that when you're young, you're just really ambitious, but you don't know what you're looking for. You don't know what you actually want in life. There's an alternative way to look at that, in that when you're younger, you do know what you're looking for. You're very passionate, but as you age, you lose track of that. And that seems to be a reoccurring theme in this whole series of aging and changing of ages and transformation through age. Smashing something important to people. Smashing the world's shell. Okay, that whole smashing the world's shell, when Miki was saying smashing things that are important to people, that's equivalent to the idiom of you gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet. Essentially, toga means there are sacrifices that need to be made for the greater purpose. I'm not going to say greater good because we don't know what the revolution of the world is. We just know that it has a greater purpose. So Miki is really against this idea, and Toga very much obviously keeps repeating it over and over and over again because this is the thing, this is the chick speech egg, yada yada yada. Anyway, now we're at the apple. Initially, the apple was whole, right? And then after Miki is talking about trying to get rid of the rose duels and trying to stop such a corrupt system, suddenly we have 6 separate pieces of apples shaped like bunnies, all facing each other. The kind of obvious parallel is that he is kind of going after something whole and trying to break it apart. It helps that in a lot of Eastern cultures, the apple represents peace. So on top of breaking apart the student council and the rose duels, he also is disrupting the peace. Side note, there are 6 duelists and 6 apple slices that are shaped into rabbits, all facing each other. Rabbits also, in a lot of Eastern culture, represent cleverness and self-devotion. Read that as you may. The apple in Western culture, especially in Judo-Christo themes, represents the forbidden fruit of knowledge. I swear I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere. This show has a lot of Western Christian-esque themes, specifically with Lucifer and Dios. I mean, God. And then, you know, the apple being the forbidden fruit. Personally, I think that could be a couple of different things, but really it feels like Anshi is the apple. She has all the knowledge, and she was given to the duelist by the ends of the world, perhaps? Meaning maybe he might be Lucifer? We'll see. I know I said I'd fast forward these, but they're so fast, I'll probably just let them be. Ooh, a dark tunnel entering into a dark situation. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the music sheet, aka Kozue, Miki's twin sister. Oh, he sure did. She sure caused him to drop that book. Put your clothes on. Oh my God. What are you doing here if you don't play music? Music room's not just for music. Or piano playing. Oh, hi, Toga. Oh, hi, Toga. So skeezy.
Ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
Okay. Beyond just kind of being a creep, because Toga, they're 15. Gross. Toga is drawing the parallel between Miki's sister and him because they are twins. I gotta say, comparing Miki to his twin sister and calling them both cute and easygoing is a whole lot of yikes. Like a big red flag statement. Like, run the other direction, Miki. Toga's not that bad, but I mean, like, it's still kind of skeezy. In a trance, and then Anshi just happens to show up. People being taken away from you. Put your clothes on. Okay, the treble clef. I'm not a music player, so a lot of my music knowledge comes from, like, reading websites. Anyway, so someone correct me if I'm wrong, but the treble clef represents the start of music. It's the beginning of something, and it kind of sets the tone and the pitch for the rest of the music. Specifically in piano music, it tells the right hand what to do. Note that Miki is a piano player and always sits on the right hand when he flashes back to playing with his sister. This is not so subtly Toga telling Miki that if he doesn't act, if he doesn't do something to get the Rose Bride, you know, if he doesn't participate in the duels, then he is going to lose her in the exact same way he lost his sister, sort of. It's really not a coincidence that everyone just happened to converge into the music room at the same time. Puppets on strings. Miki, of course, is a good person, and he is for sure going to question Toga's logic. She doesn't remember when she learned to play the piano. Oh. There's thinking of his sister again. And now he's relating the piano music of Anchi playing to his sister playing. And he wants to preserve that. And in the process, Anchi continually pushes the I only do what my engaged person tells me what to do. She does this on purpose. Hint? Oh, we're getting into some weird territory. Bear with me. Okay. This is all taking place in Miki's head. Man, Miki, this is in your head? Yikes. 15. If that. Maybe 14. So clearly, Miki sees Toga as this kind of sex symbol, and that's what he is relating Toga to. Especially when Toga earlier compared Miki to his sister. Ugh, it's kind of not difficult to see how this idea popped into Miki's head. What I don't know if he's always seen Toga like this, or if this is more of a new development. For me, it's hard to say. He's a really innocent kid, so I'm gonna say he didn't always think like this, and Toga is a terrible influence on the youth. Nothing against Miki being anything, just Toga, you're like... Anyway. I think it's interesting that when the bedroom scene happens in the movie, they use that moment to talk about Toga's past, his really, really dark backstory that sort of explains why he is the way he is. They don't do it here, but there it is. Miki's just basically determined to protect Anchi's innocence and her virtue and whatever, because there's a lot of assumptions happening here in regards to, you know, virtue and purity. Whatever. Or Miki. Basically, he just wants to keep her safe. I guarantee she doesn't care. Everyone loves Miki. He's younger than everybody else, if you hadn't noticed. You know, boy genius. Utena doesn't really care. She's not impressed. But challenging her to a duel is another thing entirely. You gotta kind of imagine what everyone else is thinking, though. He just presents her a rose and be like, I'm waiting for you at the arena. Rumors.
見よこの広い海原を100人の部下を従え今日も7つの海へと乗り出す俺は海賊世界のめぼしい財宝は今やすべてこの手にある
頭でも頭の宝箱にはどうして頭が本当に欲しいものだけないんですかい
俺が本当に欲しいもの？
だから頭はまだ海賊の頭をやめられねえんでしょ
俺が本当に欲しいもの？
頭が本当に欲しいものは
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Sorry.
謎こに穴
Okay. Shadow Playgirls. This particular story involves a pirate captain who is super happy being a pirate captain as all the world's treasure belongs to him. But he gets asked, well, if you're so happy and all the world's treasure belongs to you, why are you still a pirate captain? Why haven't you stopped? Makes sense, right? If you had everything that you wanted, you would retire, quit, whatever. Anyway, so it's clear that he is missing something really precious and important to him. Get it? Get it? Okay, we're getting there. The issue comes in where as soon as he's kind of being led to remember what it is he's actually looking for, what he's actually seeking. Sound familiar, Toga? They spring a leak in the boat, as in out of nowhere, life just sort of slams into them and completely derails everything. A little bit of foreshadowing, methinks, you know? Mickey is obviously the pirate captain looking for his shiny thing, and he has gravely misjudged what that shiny thing, what the important thing in his life really is. I'm just gonna skip ahead. And we're back at the beginning.
結局こういうことになるんだねミッキー。僕はどうしてもあの音楽を取り戻さなきゃ。だからどうしても花嫁が必要なんだ。君がピアノの前に座っている方が似合っているのに。
まったくだな。
Again, how did Jury hear that when she is visually so far away from them? That's actually a clue. I keep forgetting to point it out, but do you ever notice how you can see Anshi's face in the blade? Again, there's a reason for it. Bells, duel, cue music of significance. Utena and the blade. We've seen a parallel here. His rose-tinted glasses. Big time. So we established that Mickey is a national level fencer. He knows how to sword fight. That kind of means Utena shouldn't be able to win this fight, as she's never sword fought before. She's good. She has a lot of luck. See, he's not even breathing hard, and she's like... Yeah, this is not the way to go about doing stuff like that, is it? I wonder who put these stupid ideas in his head. Toga. You can see in her eyes that she wants to be free. Free from what, though? Free to do what? So Utena shouldn't be able to win this, right? No way.
負けない。彼女は僕を信じてるんだ。
そこだウテナ様やっちゃ
Unless someone distracts him. And the dream is lost. That happy feeling is broken, and Miki loses. Poor Miki.
これで
He's a good kid, but
どうして誰も輝くものになってくれないんだ。
because you're looking in the wrong place,
ご苦労
baby.
様また勉強教えてね
Listen to the piano playing.
あんたさ本当に
Three
昔ピアノ
windows?
やってたの私でももう少しはうまいわよ
Oh, look, it's his twin sister,
興味もなかった
who evidently never had any talent and can't play the piano.
隣に住んでた男の子がさ昔よくラブレターくれたんだよね、
Mm-hmm.
あなたのピアノが好きですってへえその子勘違いしてたのよね私がピアノを弾けるって弾くときはいつも兄貴と一緒に弾いてたからさ
Okay.
小さい時はよく間違えられたわ私までピアノがうまいって兄貴は天才だからさ私がデタラメに弾いてもちゃんとフォローしてくれるんだよねでもコンサート
Basically, he covered up her bad playing by overcompensating. So when the concert came about, she knew that she couldn't actually play, so she just freaked out. But it should be interesting that she didn't play the piano because she liked the piano. She played the piano because some boy said that he liked her piano playing, so she just continued on.
でもこの次は負けませんから。
She's not who Miki thinks she is. Parallel, Anchi is probably not who Miki thinks she is. Or definitely not. And we have reached the end of the two-parter episode, which I should state has been absolute hell to record. I have stopped so many times because something has gone wrong, or something has interrupted it, or, I mean, this has taken me days. This has taken me days to do. It shouldn't have taken me days. But here we are. Hopefully editing goes well. Such a mess. And that's it. That's it for the episode. I will see you guys again Saturday, I think, with another episode. I live with. Thanks for watching. Bye.